Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about arguably the best solo champion for the sake of the Scarab King. I mean, this one's something that, you know, it kind of surprised me on how easy it actually is because of certain changes that have happened to this champion. The one that I'm talking about is the one that's behind me. Let me move myself to the side, and that's Tomblord. So I already had a video on my channel, I think, about this build specifically, and also about, you know, how good Tomblord is for soloing content in general. I showed that he can do Dragon solo, he can do Ice Golem, so I think he can do Dragon 25 because it's Force Affinity, that's really good. He can do Ice Golems some stages solo, he can even do the Scarab King on solo, but the one that I showed before was a little bit more gear intensive, to say so, because of the fact that he got to rework somewhere, like I think it was in the middle of last year, and the rework that he got was actually he had his aura changed from defense in arena, because if I'm not mistaken that's what he used to have, defense in arena by 40% or something like that, and now he actually has an aura that boosts his accuracy, or like, you know, the whole team's accuracy in Doom Tower by 70. What does that mean? That means that if you build him specifically for a solo build, and like specifically for Doom Tower, you're obviously gonna use him in the lead, because you're gonna have him, maybe somebody to help clear the waves, as you saw for me, had Tranda and Herdig. Like, it doesn't have to be those two ones specifically. Whoever helps you beat the waves faster, that's what you're gonna use. But after that, you just need, you know, you need 3 champions that die alongside him. So it can be 2 DPS and 1 fodder, whatever. Or you can have only 1 DPS if you have somebody like an Ethos that does enough damage for you to do it, and you're good to go. But Ethos might be a problem because of the War Chiefs that are on the waves and that kill themselves. And then after that, as you pass the waves, you kind of want them to die before the waves or die on the first hit once they get to the Scarab. Because otherwise, if you have people in here that keep attacking the Scarab and, you know, the Scarab keeps counter-attacking, if you do not hit while having a shield on, it's going to be a little bit painful and he will not survive. However, as you saw, I only had Herdig survive with him on the boss. And as soon as Herdig attacks, the boss counterattacks and straight up killed him, and that's it. I mean, in general, you know, on stage floor, on stage 100 hard, the boss hits, you know, pretty damn solid. So whoever you're gonna bring, in general, they should normally die, unless they're a defensive nuker. I would not suggest bringing a defensive nuker. I suggest bringing, like, you know, an attack nuker that just does it and then dies. And then after that, as you can see, he does it on his own pretty well. And the thing is, there's only, you know, apart from the stats that I'm going to show you, there's only one thing that is mandatory in order to make this work. And that is to have a Blood Shield accessory for Tomblord. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking like, oh yeah, I cannot do this. This is something that, you know, to solo stage 100 of Scarab, it's something that, you know, you would try maybe after you've been playing for at least 9 months, if not 1 year. So by that time, hopefully, you know, you've had a few clan versus clan fights and you got yourself a Blood Shield accessory, because that's the only place you can get yourself a Blood Shield accessory from, that's CVC. So as you see, we're getting close to the end of the fight, and we are what, 3 minutes and a half in. Normally, if you look at this one, this is the time that I did with resistance on him, okay? So him having resistance gets you to be a little bit faster because you don't get that provoke, you don't get that decreased speed, that decreased attack, which means that Tomblord will always do his poisons when they are ready. So let's have a quick look at the presets, and then we're gonna have a look at the build. And actually, I think I'm even gonna run it. I'm gonna put back some resistance on it, and I'm gonna run it again to show you how it works. So basically, the only presets that you care about is on Tomblord. Nobody else, like, you know, you just bring the other ones to nuke in there. And what you want to do for Tomblord is you want to make sure on the boss part that he always prioritizes his A2, because otherwise he's going to prioritize his A3. The whole damage that we do on the boss is from the 4 poisons that he does on his A2, which is insane, and then everything else is just from, like, you know, A1 hits and some Giant Slayer procs, but they do not do as much damage as the poison does. So this is all that you need to do, as simple as that, and, you know, that's it. You can simply beat floor 100 on Scarab, like, you know, conveniently. This one's gonna work on rotation 3 as well, by the way. Even when Tomblord's, you know, neutral affinity, it's still gonna work. It's still gonna work, he's still gonna survive. And a thing that makes it even more, you know, beautiful, like I said, it makes it amazing, is because of this change, like I mentioned, let me move myself on the other side. You have the aura that brings L accuracy in Doom Tower battles by 70. So this one helps you a ton because normally for the sake of the higher stages, you need around 350 accuracy to land your debuffs, and you need around 350 resistance to not have debuffs landed on you. Unless it's Bommel that needs, you need a crazy amount of resistance. And I think the Eternal Dragon requires something over 350. But everything else, it's like 350 is the benchmark that you're looking for. Another thing that you might see in here is the Brimstone Blessing. Honestly, from what I've seen, the Brimstone damage itself, it doesn't do that much. It does around the same damage as a poison, if not less. So if you're looking at this and you're being like, oh, I don't have the Brimstone, it's not mandatory. You do not really care. You don't necessarily care about this one. Maybe something that could help with your survivability could be, let me see which one was it. Is it Faultless Defense? Yeah, so maybe if you don't want to go for that one and you have problems surviving, you could go with Faultless Defense, because boss will always attack you twice because the shield that you get from the Blood Shield accessory is tiny. So the first hit is going to break it and then a second one will come. So basically the second hit, depending on the level, you're going to get 5, 10 or 20% or even 35 if you have a 6-star one less damage from those hits. So keep that in mind. But when we're talking about stats, basically what you need is, like I said, look at this. I have 280 accuracy with the 70 that he gets from his lead. That gets to 350. Drop down. Like 280 is nothing too crazy for people to achieve. Like, it's nothing too crazy. When it comes to the resistance, like I said, I removed my gear because I had the resistance, I had the accuracy, I had everything. I have higher stats. I even removed the resistance banner and some other resistance stuff, so I don't have the 350 resistance. You don't care about resistance at all, honestly. So if you're just building him specifically for the sake of the Scarab, you do not care about the resistance. If you want this build to work on Scarab, but to work on soloing dungeons as well, give him around 300 resistance and you're good to go. If you can pump it to 350 to make the run a little bit faster, give it 350. Then the other thing that's mandatory is to have 100% crit rate, because if he does not crit, he only lands 2 poisons. If he places a crit, he lands 4 poisons, which obviously that's massive and they do a ton of damage. At the same time, his A1 is guaranteed to land decreased speed again if he lands that critical hit. And then the thing that helps really nicely is the Blight. If you, every time the boss drops under 50% HP, you deplete the turn meter and basically, you get an extra turn so you can come back to your poisons and your A1s faster. Then when it comes to the build that you want, as you can see, I only have regeneration, so you need regeneration plus the Blood Shield accessory, like I said. And then stat-wise, you kind of want to aim around that 230 speed, because with the decreased speed and with the masteries that I'm going to show you, you're going to be fine. You kind of want Tomb Lord to be roughly around the same speed as the Scarab King, which is around 250, 251 speed. So that's what you're trying to aim. So you go at least for 1-to-1. Every time the Scarab goes, you go. Or if you can, obviously, if you can get it higher, go higher. But you kind of want the survivability stats. This is the only thing that might be tricky, the defense on him, because his base defense is pretty low. So if you can give him, defense maybe ring instead of the HP that I have, or I have a defense one over here with the resist. Even this one I could swap, because like I said, don't care about this one. But yeah, I do have crit rate gloves, I do have HP percent chest, and I do have HP percent boots with the speed on the subtest. So as you see, I only have regen and then some random pieces. So I hope this looks slightly achievable. If you play for at least over a year, you should be able to hit these stats. Then when it comes to the masteries, I went with these ones. I went with Giant Slayer because I want him to do more damage on the boss parts, and then down the support tree. Obviously, with the Whirlwind of Death is gonna help for the sake of doing solo dungeons, not for the sake of the Scarab. But still, if you want to do the combined build, get this one as well. If not, if you have trouble hitting some of those stats and some of the survivability, just go down the defense tree. Take Tough Scan, take the Blast Proof, take Resurgent, come down here with Delay Death, and maybe get Retribution. Deterrence maybe not that much, but maybe getting Retribution or even Cycle of Revenge every time you get crit. Then when we come to the support sheet, the thing that I kind of want to say is mandatory is getting Arcane Celerity, because you land a ton of debuffs, and every time they go off, they expire or removed, you get Turn Meter. You have a chance to getting Turn Meter. Then getting Evil Eye could help, but again, this one's not necessarily mandatory. Same thing with Lord of Steel, because you're gonna have a regen set. This one only boosts base stats, so getting this one is not that important, but you do want to get Spirit Haste. Every time somebody dies, you know, you get 8 speed up to 24. That's what I mentioned at the beginning about the 3 people that you want in your team. This one getting to 24, basically, I have 232 speed. With that 24 gets me over that 250 mark. And another one that you want is Master Hexer, because you land 4 poisons, you kind of want to extend them as much as you can. Same thing with the decreased speed, decreased attack, and decreased defense. And then if you would go the support and defense tree, the last one that you would want to hit is Oppressor, because again, he lands so many debuffs, especially if you're talking about, again, not specifically the Scarab, but about the other stuff. You want him to get more Turbitor every time, you know, those for all the debuffs that are active out there. But if you cannot hit the stats, you can always go Eagle Eye. Go Eagle Eye and get that extra 50 accuracy, you know. And then that's about it. But yeah, let me quickly put the let me quickly put some resistance back on him. Do a run, and we're gonna come back at the end so I can show you the time that he does it if he has high resist to resist the debuffs on the Scarab. So see you in a bit. Okay, so we're coming towards the end now with this build, and as we can see, we have a chance of shaving up like 20 to 30 seconds off this one. Maybe honestly, for the sake of this way with the resistance build, it might even be worth it just locking out that A3, because you're not going to get provoked, you're not going to get decreased speed, so you're just going to do A1 and the poisons, A1 and the poisons. I think that the way that I actually did it, for the sake of making it that way, that fast, was the one with this one turned off, with the blight turned off on the boss part. Again, let me run it again, and I'm gonna come back and show you, because like I said, the time that you saw was the time that I did the day before, and it was actually with the with the resistance on. So again, see you at the end just to show you the time. And there it is, 2 minutes and 46 seconds. That's what I said. The reason for that is, if you turn off the A3, you basically cut off on the animations, but it's only an improvement if you do have the resistance build, as I mentioned, because otherwise you keep getting that provokes and you do more A1s when you should do the A2s instead for sake of poisons. And if you have the A3, you're going to keep depleting the boss's turn meter. Yeah, you're going to get more turns, but the way the strategy works is kind of like the way with the Eurost one, is you want the boss to go so those poisons can take and you can do damage on the boss. But yeah, this is going to be for the video. I really wanted to show this again, you know, for the year of 2023, how well this one works, especially after his change buff, because I think he also lowered his A3 from a 5 turn to a 4 turn cooldown after it's booked, and I think they changed the poison. I don't remember exactly everything else, but I know that he was still good last year, but now he's even better because it's easier to build him. It's so much easier to build him because of that accuracy lead that you get in there, as you don't have to worry about those crazy stats and 100% crit rate and survivability. It just makes it a ton easier right now. But yeah, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. If you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I hope this one helps a lot of you out there, and I'm gonna see you all in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.